What you were mid rant though.
Mid rant. What was I talking
Should
about?
we just let the? I think it's loud enough. Should we just let the AC run?
Yeah, we can let it run.
Yeah,
Is the video on or?
Yeah, the video already started it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I was mid rant. What was I talking? Was I talking about the recognitions?
Was it the recognitions?
I was talking about a lot. Talking about dictatorships and the recognitions.
We were talking about dictatorships. What's going on with you, bro? Heavy traffic. 6, dude. 6.
Issue 6.
I mean, this is full creation mode, dude. This is full.
Issue 6.
This is full.
I'm really happy with how this one turned out.
I mean, the lineup is fucking sick.
The lineup, it's a good lineup. You know, I'll be honest with you. I was here for issue 5 last time. It's funny because, you know, these pods are becoming bookends to periods of my life, you know.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. Because the last one happened just before this, like, very transformative period of my life. And now this one seems to be taking place at the end of that or the beginning of the next one. I can't tell, but... I guess I can't say too much, but yeah, we are going back. We're taking the magazine back to Europe soon.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And so, but
where?
We're just gonna go do some stuff in
London?
Paris.
In Paris?
Just Paris. Yeah, just Paris
When?
this time. Next month, July, for issue
crazy,
6.
crazy.
Yeah, but it's like last time I was here, I hadn't left America in like 5 years or something, and I did the podcast right before I went to Europe for the first Heavy Traffic EU tour.
Yeah.
And we just booked this Paris thing like yesterday. It was like last minute spur of the moment.
That's where I'm flying to.
You're flying to Paris.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say, but dude,
and then I'm flying back to Paris at the end of the month for 4 days.
For 4 days
for a different event.
What's the event?
It's through the writing, the writing stuff I was talking, sports writing.
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, like, I'm taking that same midnight flight to Paris in July. Yeah, I'm doing the same one from
midnight
JFK.
flight to Paris.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do a 2-day drive all the way up to the fucking Isle of fucking Lewis.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love Lewis.
But that's so funny. Yeah, usually I'm always like, yo, dude, like somebody, like, come on, like, let's pod, like, please.
Yeah.
Patrick hit me up. He was like, yo, I got a magazine for you. I was like,
Yeah.
all right. And then he's like, yeah, I'll pull up. I was like, oh shit, I think he wants to pod, dude.
Yeah. Well, no,
he got to come on the track,
to
lay
be
something
fair,
down.
To be fair, I didn't. The pod wasn't in my mind. I did want to see you though, to give you the issue, because we actually haven't done a launch for this most recent issue. Because I'm kind of just not feeling like doing a launch.
Yeah.
Because I have like a list of maybe 30 people that I want to see.
Yeah.
And give the issue to in person. And that's why I would do a launch. That's like, I don't really give a shit about anyone else coming, but maybe 30 people.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at the list and I'm like, wait, I'm either gonna see all these 30 people, or I'd like to specifically make an appointment to go see these 30 people.
Yeah.
So I was like, why do I even want to do a launch? Because we're gonna do like a reading next month here in New York, and I'm just like, that can be the launch. So instead of doing a launch, I'm just like, I'm gonna, I'll meet up and bring you the issue. And I hadn't seen you since the fucking reading. Did.
Oh my
the
god.
Infamous January Heavy Traffic reading.
The infamous.
I hadn't seen you since
New York
then.
Times blackout. That was the craziest. I mean, that's still one of the craziest things of all time.
It is. It's crazy.
Still one of the craziest things of all time.
Well, because I didn't believe you at the beginning. I didn't believe that there was like, because I remember I read the article after it came out online, and I was like, oh, his name's missing. And I wrote the Times. I was like, hey, you forgot his name.
Yeah.
And then, like, you wrote me,
and
you were like, hey, they forgot my name. And I was like, yeah, I wrote them.
Yeah.
And you were like, I think there's something behind that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, there's
Yeah,
nothing
you've been saying that. No.
But then,
oh yeah, Sean, you think you're so polarizing. Yeah, you think you're so fucking controversial.
But then the lady wrote me back, and her response was, this lady from the Times, she wrote me back, because I've worked for a bunch of magazines. We make mistakes all the time. I thought it was just that if you make a mistake, you write the person, and you say, I'll fix it, no problem. But she wrote me back, and she said, I'll see what I can do. But I'm like, you forgot a fucking guy's name. Like, he's on the poster. Like, what do you mean you'll see what you can do? It's either you put it in or you don't, It was
one of the most, they've reviewed my book. One of the most controversial reviews of fucking.
Yeah. It was queer. Her response was queer. Yeah. And then I was like, but I still thought, I was like, they'll put it in before the print, it goes to print on Thursday. There's plenty of time. I wrote them like with 5 days or whatever to go. And then, it wasn't in print either. And I'm like, okay, this is very strange.
Yeah.
So, you were right. You were right. But it's still, I don't know what the reason is. Because, like, the Times people, I wrote her a second time. I was like, you got to put it in.
Yeah.
And she didn't reply to that for, like, a month.
Yeah.
She didn't reply to that until well after it had gone to print.
What did she say?
So she didn't respond to that directly because I said, can you put this in?
Yeah.
And I also need the photographer's name and
Yeah.
I need the pictures for some other shit.
Yeah.
She never replied about you. She just sent me the photographer's name.
Hilarious.
Yeah. But I never. The only answer I ever got from the Times was, we'll see what we can do. That was the only reference to it.
I mean, with all that kind of stuff, it only takes one person to have some weird idea.
Exactly.
And then
exactly.
Are you showing the mag?
Yeah, I'm showing the mag.
Nice.
I'm happy with this cover.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. This one's the closest to what I imagined.
I should do the unboxing.
By the way, I'm not segueing away from the Times thing. We can come back to it, and we can do the whole pod about it.
I'm honestly, who gives a fuck, dude?
But it is bizarre. But no, it's
hard to be Welbeck. You know what I'm saying? Like, America needs one.
The American Welbeck. Yeah.
Like, there's, it's like there's no way I can't fold this into my self mythology. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. I just thought it was so funny that
more bizarre that it would have been less bizarre if they were like, oh yeah, if they just like mentioned it and like didn't say anything about it. That would have been like, it was like more of a statement.
It was a
you know what I mean?
The guy's name is on the poster. Couldn't be. It was like 5 names. And it was just like, yours isn't in the article. It was just like bizarre to me.
But it's not like I'm a random person.
No, exactly.
They've like written, they've like reviewed my book. And
no, it was really, really, really strange. Yeah.
2, 4, 6. I mean, this is clean 10.
10 people. There's 10 people in there. 10 people in there, including. I put a piece by myself in there because I wanted Richard to do the editor's letter because Richard's our designer, and I just wanted to challenge him, kind of see if he could do an editor's letter, because I think he's a brilliant writer, and I think Richard's really intelligent editorially, more so than he gives himself credit for, and I just wanted to see what he could do, and he did. Like, a lot of this shit, like, I don't know if you want to show it, like the inside flap, the inside cover, the first few pages is just gibberish, really. It's just pieces and fragments of different pieces that have been pieced together.
Got you.
Because we didn't have an idea for the cover, actually. Because normally the cover comes from the editor's letter, or there's a standout piece where we're just like, okay, this is the piece, we're going to start it right on the cover.
Yeah.
But we were coming right down to the deadline, and we didn't have an idea for the cover. And Richard was he was in England, and so I wasn't in the studio with him, which I am usually, and I didn't know what we were going to do for the cover. And at the last minute, Richard just sent me this idea of just combining a bunch of different pieces together. Yeah, he saved the day. I think it looks great.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
no, I'm stoked. I'll probably bring this out. I'll put those in the suitcase.
Absolutely.
Along with just I mean.
Along with the recognitions.
Yeah, the recognitions, Golden Bow, Vico, and I'm gonna bring Marjorie Kemp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm just on I'm gonna go full, I'm just continuing James George Fraser's project.
Yeah.
Because last month, I read the Foundation Myth, the Japanese Foundation Myth, this History of Japan stuff, and Hagakure, which is the samurai book that was banned after World War II. And dude, the Japanese creation myth has an Adam and Eve, a fall, a Hades, an Orpheus going down to get the wife. And then he looks. He's not supposed to look. He looks. She's but then it's there's little twists.
You're reading the recognitions is going to change you, and I think it takes you into its own world, and then I don't know. I felt very I went deep into that Anima Mundi world myself for 4 months 2 years ago, and all I read was the recognitions and the Golden Bow as well. But at the end of it, I was just completely isolated, and I felt completely intellectually isolated. And now I can't, I have that. It was my favorite book for a while, and I do think that Gaddis, if he could have controlled himself structurally, would be considered at least on par with Faulkner, greatest American writer. I think if he could have controlled himself, because he gave the critics so much to work with in terms of him going 900 plus pages.
Right.
You'll see there's 2 sections in the recognitions around, I think, 600 pages where there's a 100-page party scene. That's just fucking, there's no point to have this scene. Even taking into account, the whole idea that you need to have boring moments in a novel, et cetera, et cetera. This goes way too far. It's completely unnecessary. And he has 2 or 3 moments in the book like that. So the book could be 500 pages or 482. Like Glamorama, which and if he had just controlled himself a little bit, I think, because his sentences, and I actually I could I know exactly where one is that I could read, but like there's no Faulkner's the only other American writer who can write like that, who can make a whole world with one. He can.
But see, yeah,
he can do the Golden Bow in one sentence. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, we've been doing the Golden Bow in one sentence. The Golden Bow in one sentence is the New York Times banishing me from. It literally is. It literally is. Like you think the Christ story is unique? Dear. No, this is through all of time. Were you
crucified by the New York Times?
You just scapegoat the king. No, once you get the king, you have to scapegoat him. I mean, bro, I'm not like, it was funny. Last time I was saying all this stuff. Like, Patrick, do you understand how to have this position aside where people use you to project their angers to, you see a comment section. I see a comment section. I say, this is about, you guys all need to talk to your dad. I'm not your dad, like, so yeah, Theophagy, scapegoat the king, eat the king. It happens. Yeah, but it's funny because I did the same thing with reading Ulysses recently after I'd spent months in the Odyssey and Ovid and rereading it. Yeah, I think there's going to be something like that because I've been in the weeds with the Golden Bow. So like, I'm going to kind of read it through that lens.
Amazing. It's so funny because I hadn't read the Golden Bow when I first read the Recognitions. I can't imagine what it would be like. Because it's so, the Recognitions is so rich to begin with, right? It's just rich, even in just a writerly sense, without all the references. Yeah. So I can't imagine what it's like. Yeah. No, having read the Golden Bow. Yeah. Did you read the Franzen piece?
Because a long time ago, without knowing who got, back in the day, like I read it
where he's talking.
I'll run it back, Mr. Difficult or whatever. I'll run it back.
Difficult, that's right. Yeah.
After, and then me and Harold's long play is
what?
Franzen.
Oh,
you want to talk about the like how's he gonna back down from that? Hey, are you down to come talk on the Recognitions? I mean, if you're too scared to talk about the Recognitions, that's fine.
Yeah, well, there was that, and then there was the Ben Marcus response to that.
That's right.
Which I can't. I read this.
I read that too. Yeah,
I read this years ago, but I can't remember. But
Ben was my teacher.
Yeah, I really do think that the Recognitions, man, that's like, it's. I think it changed the way I wrote. Maybe for the worse for a little bit, and then it got better. Yeah, it was like medicine, It was like I was fucked up on it for a while, and then it helped.
Yeah. Also, there's a priest stuff, but so that's a priest. That's a priest king of the wood, But But what's going? So I had to divert to like do the premise of the pod, which kind of creates this tone, but. Tell me about what's going on with the phases of life. What's going on with you?
The phases of life.
I mean, we only have an hour to hang.
Yeah.
Because I got to go fucking fly to Paris, but we're also on the pod. But I also want to catch up with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we could, we can keep it all page too.
Chaos.